Brothers and sisters, you all can ignore it and think this is a one-off if you would like. Women to poison black men. If they want to get rid of black men because black men aren't supporting black women by voting against Kamala, she started giving concoctions for black women to poison black men. Brothers and sisters, you all can ignore it and think this is a one-off if you would like. The Bible will tell you that we would be living in some crazy times. And because men, when men decide, black men in particular, when we decide to stand up and say, you know what, we are going to take control of our families. We are going to take the lead. Guess what, folks? It's not going to be the white man trying to stop us. We have never had control in the United States. It's the Willie Lynch syndrome. And if we choose to break away and take control for the sake of self-preservation, we have to fight our people first, unfortunately. We have to fight our people first. So we're going to go on the other side and open this up. And we're going to talk about it. What creates women like that? Now, not just her, we're going to have other women from the same clip who's going to give us going to tell us what they really feel about black men because Kamala lost the race. Okay? And then we're going to talk about prophetically what this means because, folks, there's a lot of crazy school teachers, okay, that we must leave our children to who think like that. Now you see why they would rather, because don't forget, folks, our sisters in the school system isn't stopping those white liberals from coming in with that teaching of switching our boys to girls. They're not stopping them. They're not standing up against it. Teaching the alternative lifestyle to our little boys. Our sisters aren't against that, especially if the boy grow up, he'll vote and operate politically like she want him to. You don't have to worry about a gay black man not voting your interests. So therefore, why would they stop the school systems from transitioning your sons? It just gives them more control. At least that boy gonna grow up and vote like his mama. Let me tell you, folks, can you imagine if a Judite man was to get online and say what this woman said publicly? Can you imagine? But I digress. I'll pray for her. But we still have to understand the mindset of these crazed people who are in positions to make influence over our children. Because she's not alone. I'm going to tell you that now. But it took something like this to wake us up, to not be naive to what has always destroyed us from the inside. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm going over to Patreon. We're going to look at the rest of these videos. I'm only going to be on for about an hour today, so I will immediately open up the lines. 515-605-9327. 515-605-9327. I will immediately open up the lines and we'll talk about this. I'll have what the Democrat. No. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
when it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out here anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Shalom, 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 Shabbat, shalom to my brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. I am Elder Rakash Yar here live with our weekly Patreon update. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Now, I'm not going to be on here for long because we can only do a 1 hour Patreon. I usually say 1 hour, but who knows where the Spirit will take it. But usually I want to do a 1 hour Patreon, piggybacking off of the last broadcast we had. Have we successfully escaped the Democrat plantation? And based on my discussion today on Patreon, it's worse than I thought. Things is worse amongst the children of Israel, mainly the children of Judah, between the man and the woman. And it's worse than I could have imagined. I'm starting to believe that as men, I can only speak from the man's perspective, is that we have been totally naive to the dynamics of a relationship between our women. We've been totally naive. And let me explain what I'm saying. No one could ever think that even though there's problems between us, like there's problems in relationships between all races of people. But as a man, I could never think that a woman would seek to publicly come out to generally say that all black men need to be killed. Or
yeah, when you hear that, when a person says that in public, you know they're, first of all, sin iniquity equals sin, and sin is a transgression of the laws, aka breaking the laws, and sin equals death. And thou shalt not kill. So as soon as you think that, then you say it in public, you're possessed by some type of demon for sure. Like you're just a pagan, basically. That's crazy. Like you gotta go through steps to say that shit on TV. I ain't gonna lie. Like that's some anger that's demonic. Then again, I'm gonna break it down what I believe. I believe in the Bible, the whole Bible. Apocrypha, 14 books, New Testament, Old Testament, the whole thing, not religion. If you look at religion, Christianity, Roman Catholic, they don't follow the Bible, they go against it. Quick example, Revelation 1, 14, 15, they like reading every verse, but they skip this verse and Daniel 7. The Bible says that Christ is described to have dark skin and white wool hair. So, and the letter J didn't exist when Christ was alive, so Jesus couldn't have been a word back then. And the picture of Jesus is just CJ, look it up. A Roman, aka a Jewish man, which Jewish people are Romans, Revelation 2:9-9, Christ exposes them for the synagogue of Satan. They're Esau, Edomites. Then the name Jesus equals Zeus, and Zeus is another name for Satan. So yeah. So I believe in the Bible, not religion. All religions and holidays are Babylonian and are pagan, aka satanic. That's a fact. Do your research.
Poisoned based on their choice in an election, based on their choice to vote for whom they wanted to vote for. When I see the dynamic after they wanted to vote for, or poisoned, but as a man, I could never think that a woman would seek to, could ever think. We've been totally naive. And let me explain what I'm saying. No one could ever think that even though there's problems between us, like there's problems in relationships between all races of people. But as a man, I could never think that a woman would seek to publicly come out to generally say that all black men need to be killed or poisoned based on their choice in an election, based on their choice to vote for whom they wanted to vote for. When I see the dynamic after the election, I'm starting to understand that men in general, I know maybe it's me. I didn't think the divide was this wide. And the vitriol, man, this election is showing more than I've thought, when it comes to how far apart we are as a people in a time where we need one another. It's scary. Now, I do have some answers, according to the Bible, to why it's so. But I'm going to tell you, I didn't think it was this bad. And I'm going to talk about that on the other side. On the other side with Patreon. The election revealed how wide of a divide there is between us. Boy.
Satan's mantra is divide and conquer. A nation can't stand if it's divided by itself.
I can't believe it. But anyway, I'm going to talk about that on the
A nation can't stand if it's divided by itself. So
other side, but I'm going to give you, a peek into what we're going to be reviewing on the other side. And maybe some of this is warranted. If so, please explain to me how some of the vitriol that's aimed towards destroying black men is warranted by our own women. Now, maybe there is an explanation to it, and if so, we need to get to the bottom of it. Right? Now, before I go into that, let me first state that, yes, some good stuff. The fall of the last empire, for the first time taught in our Hebrew and Bible Academy, beginning this coming Sunday. Starting 9 a.m., and I hope you all can be a part. Hebrew, pick it up, Democrat, are technology when it comes to the path of the mark, where Elon Musk fits into this. So it's no coincidence that him and Trump is tied at the hip, and we're going to talk about that. Some people might think because I come down on the Democrats that we are Republican, but that's not at all. Okay? We understand that Democrat and Republican are two wings of the same eagle. Either wing of the eagle. But the reason why I concentrate on Democrats is because that's the party that has our people in delusion. That's the party that have a grip on the minds of God's people. And we must shake loose from the crazed liberals to be saved. They're anti-God, outright, anti-family. They radicalize women against their own men. They are pro-gay. They are pro-everything the Bible is against. And you know what? It's overt. They don't even try to hide it. And I believe they have intentionally attached our people to that degeneracy. It's a people in delusion. Either wing of the eagle.
Hear that again.
But the reason why I concentrate on Democrats is because that's the party that has our people in delusion. That's the party that have a grip on the minds of God's people. And we must shake loose from the crazed liberals to be saved. They're anti-God, outright, anti-family. They radicalize women against their own men. They are pro-gay. They are pro-everything the Bible is against. And you know what? It's overt. They don't even try to hide it. And I believe they have intentionally attached our people to that degeneracy. That's the reason why I focus on the Democrats. I'm not Republican. But why should I focus on a party that our people have really no affiliation with? I must focus on who? The people who are in our house destroying us. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. Now, we're going to pick it up from where we left off on the other side. The phones will be open. Zoom will be open. And we're going to ask, have we escaped the Democrat plantation? I'm going to tell you, I like where this is trending with our people, especially the men who are walking away from the Democrats. Now, if they go Republican, guess what? That's their choice. They pay their taxes. But at least they are moving outside of a serious, evil, wicked party that's anti-God. And guess what? They don't apologize about it. They want to go into our schools, put dresses on our sons, turn our daughters into crazed men, separating the family. They're over the family courts in our communities. They finance the degeneracy that's in our neighborhoods. So I am encouraged that men are waking up. Now, the election revealed that there's a divide between us, and I'm going to talk about that before transitioning over. What's behind, a matter of fact, let me correct this spelling here. There's an apostrophe there. What's behind the hatred and divide within Judah? What's behind it? What do I mean? If anything, and I'm going to show you biblically that this is prophetic, what's going on here. I'm going to show you the hypocrisy that I'm hearing with this vitriol against men because they chose to go another way. During the whole time running up into this election, you had all our people Charlemagne the No God, and other people saying that, well, the other guy is a threat to democracy. He's a threat to democracy, even though we are living in an republic. But I digress. We understand what they mean. That the Republicans is trying to take away our freedom and rights that our forefathers died for us to receive. Now, they'll say that, but then they'll begin to attack us for exercising the rights we have based on what our foreparents died for. Now, you can't have it both ways. If someone made a choice outside of you, isn't that them exercising democracy? Oh, I know what it is. We're supposed to follow the women. And see, no one can say that out loud. Black men are supposed to follow their women. And if we don't, there's hell to pay. And guess what? Those times is over. Because at one time, I grew up believing that women, to some degree, and not all, were doing things because they had to, because men weren't stepping up, as I was hearing. Well, if men step up to go a different direction, shouldn't you follow? Or it wasn't about that at all? Was it always about controlling the men? So let's talk about it real quick. And I'm going to show you why I'm talking about this. And guess what? I know there's some good women. I know there's women who fear the Most High. I know there's women who's tired of this liberal garbage. I understand that. A matter of fact, I wouldn't be around a woman who think otherwise. The women in this church understand the order of God. See? But all in all, it's the wicked ones who's sucking all the air out of the room and have a louder voice than everyone else. I'm going to tell you, it's more of them, like good men, it's more of them that are against men. Let me put it that way. Than are on board. Where am I going here? Man, I couldn't believe what I was hearing here. I couldn't believe, brothers and sisters, what I was hearing. And there's a lot of these. What's behind this hatred? Listen to this. Listen to this.
I might get some violations and I may offend some people with what I'm gonna say, and I don't give a to all you Latinos that voted for Trump, I hope he mass deports you and your entire family, whether you were here legally or not. You gotta go. I hope he does that. To you Black men who your fragile ego couldn't take a Black woman in office, so you either voted for Trump or you didn't vote at all, the police will now have carte blanche to murder you right where you stand. And when they do that, there's not going to be no GoFundMe's. Don't ask your family to ask us for shit. Just die. They can't afford to bury you. Dig a hole in their backyard. It is what it is.
Wow.
But don't expect
That's,
sympathy. Don't expect protest in the streets. We're not doing that. Black women, we're done with. We're done. We did our due diligence for this century and the next. We've done enough. We're not doing anymore. To you white women, they're one.
This lady right here is delusional, by the way. She's probably a pagan. This is what happens and how you think when you're a pagan. Don't be a pagan, or you're gonna think like this. I'm telling you, bro. It's evil spirits, bro. There's a spiritual realm that we can't see. There's spirits all around us, bro. If we don't follow laws, we don't have that hedge of protection around us. We're free game for anything around us, bro. That passes by, bro. Like, this is how you think, bro. Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Like, look at what Kamala Harris stands for, bro. She's anti-God, anti-Christ. You just don't vote for that, straight up. You know what I'm saying?
Once again voted against your interests when your husband start knocking you into the middle of next week and you can't do anything about it because no fault divorce is in play. I want you to take those black eyes and those busted lips as a personal thank you from Donald J. Trump each and every time you get hit. Take it. Don't look for nobody else. Don't ask for help. Take your beatings. For all of y'all that voted for Trump, I hope you get exactly what you voted for. Because the only thing he did was to make America great for the people that it was great for from the beginning, white men. That's what he did. He couldn't run the risk of whiteness no longer being the default, not being allowed to fail up. So when you're bleeding out somewhere and there's a medical emergency and you can't get no help, women who voted for him, don't take it. You just gotta die. If you got kids, they just gonna be motherless. It is what it is. You didn't give them, so we don't give. That's just how it is. This
That's
isn't
crazy
America
work.
anymore. I don't know what the is, but it's not gonna be America. And if you think that Trump is gonna be in that office for 4 years, you're insane. Because we're about to be in a real live action episode of scandal. Because your next president is not Donald Trump, it's JD Vance. Because trust and believe. Within a year, you're not gonna see Trump anymore. He's either gonna be, and they're gonna say it's illness or he died in his sleep, it's natural causes because he's old enough, or they're just gonna let him spaz out and do the 25th. And that's when we're really gonna be in the handmaid's tale. So I really hope all of you who voted for him, you get exactly what the you deserve.
That's crazy. What type of wicked ass woman was that?
I have a few questions, and hopefully, brothers and sisters could help me on the other side.
Both sides are bad, but if you're voting Democrat, bro, you might as well just say you're an atheist Satanist because they're not hiding what they are. At least Republicans seem like they're decent. You know what I'm saying? Because in reality, voting is stupid because you're voting for a man to save you or to save the country or whatever the hell, right? Like, believe in Christ, believe in the Bible, don't believe in some man. But at the same time, it's like if you are gonna vote, Republican is the obvious pick by default because they're not they're not they're just not antichrist. Like, look at what the Democrats believe in, and they're straight up publicly saying it like it's nothing. Like, they're blaspheming the Most High in Christ in public, and people just are oblivious. Like, it's crazy. Like, at least Republicans hide that. At least Republicans have the wherewithal to hide that shit. Really, well, I guess it's really good cop, bad cop with both sides, but it's just pretty much if you don't believe in God, the Bible, or Christ, and you're atheist, you basically are Satanist. You basically vote Democrat. That's all that really is to it.
What creates a woman like this? What makes a woman like this to even think with all this vitriol and hatred against other people? Folks, let me tell you, too long we've been making excuses for people who think like this.
Yep. Too many excuses for people that think
she-
like this.
She's just upset right now.
Nope.
Oh, she don't really mean it.
Nope. She means every word. That's a fucking demon, bro. That's a pagan. That's a satanic pagan. There's literally an evil spirit in her right now, and I guarantee you, like, even if she's a Christian, that's still a pagan religion. Our religions are pagan. Bible has nothing to do with the religion. So But I doubt it if she's even a Christian, because voting for Kamala Harris is just, I mean, she's anti, even for Christianity, she's anti that too, really. But yeah, that's that. Hey, like, you play video games, listen to the online chats in these video games. Like, people, people are pagan, man. That's how they show their true feelings online, bro. In person, they're different.
When are we going to accept that she means it?
Yep, she means every word, bro. Just
These
demonic,
are the people
wicked as hell.
that the Satanists align themselves with to
Yeah.
destroy our children
Yeah.
inwardly. Because we continue to deny this type of vitriol and hatred exists.
Yep. Very,
Now,
very
to get to
satanic.
the bottom of why she's like this, someone will probably have to ask her. Right? But all in all, on the outside of us, we cannot make excuses for people like this. So maybe someone out there can give me some insight. Because this is not the only one. I got about 3 or 4 more that we're going to actually listen to together. And I'm not even going to interrupt it. I'm going to let the whole thing play. Just like this one. One woman was in a car giving out the ingredients of how to poison black men in their sleep.
That's crazy. Witches, bro. Witches. That's a witch. Witchcraft.
But
Magic.
I'm going to show y'all something. And thank you,
Or
Bishop
voodoo. You can say
Shamal,
that
for
shit
sending
too.
this
It's all
to
the
me.
same thing. Voodoo, witch, magic. It's all the same crap.
Really, thank you.
Witches, warlocks, all the same.
Christ stated this. Matthew 24:12.
Jewish mysticism, same thing. Kabbalah, that's all witchcraft.
Now, I got these scriptures before I seen the text.
Psychology,
that,
science, all witchcraft.
Bishop Shamal from New York
Drugs,
sent me
drugs.
when it comes to
Same thing.
the last woes that's written of in 2nd Baruch when it speaks of
Any
commotions.
type of drug. Witchcraft.
But here's some prophetic explanation to why we have these deranged women operating and saying anything out of their mouth. Even if it's self-detrimental. That's a woman who doesn't even care about herself. She's actually putting out there that she think that something should happen to the president, not realizing that somebody can be knocking on her door. That's how much self-awareness she has. But I'm going to tell y'all, but she's really, we may look at her and think that that's a one-off, but brothers
A
and
lot of people
sisters,
think like that.
we all knew people in our neighborhoods that we grew up who was like this and would talk like this and would ignore it.
Yep, it's true. People talk like that, bro. Just insane.
And would ignore it
Literally just demonically possessed people. You can't hide it.
because
Like,
we
there is
really
no
don't want to see our people like this.
there is no copium. Like, people who think like that, talk like that, they're demonically possessed pagans. Like, you can't cope it. You can't make an excuse like bad day or I don't know, man. There's no excuse publicly online. No excuse, bro. No fucking excuse at all, man. Saying that crazy shit, bro.
As a matter of fact, we even though we knew some of these things existed amongst us, we would never outright in public just throw the underbellies of our community out there as if she's the example of all of us because we understood that existed. But the problem is we never did anything about it. You know why we didn't do anything about it? Because we can't. Anybody who would be with that woman and stand up to that woman to put her in her place,
Her man will come out of nowhere.
911 will be dialed
Or that.
before what?
Yeah.
It will be dialed before a man can actually try to figure out what's going on in this house.
Probably, yeah.
And you know
Actually.
what? That's what they wanted.
It's true.
They wanted
they
to
would
have
just
a
call
control
911.
scenario over the Judah.
As soon as you're trying to figure out what's going on, not even being hostile, they just call 911 or something. Like, just it's fucking insane, bro. It's a demon. It's literally a demon in that person, bro. Spiritual war, bro. Spiritual world, not physical, bro.
Like man, to where we can be disrespected without consequences. Because we don't do what women want us to do who are deranged, we're the enemy. The Bible states this. Christ even said what? And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So we don't got too many things. There's not too many prophecies have to happen before Christ returns. Because this is one of the major ones where there's no love amongst God's people. Even if those thoughts would come to your mind. She didn't even have enough self-awareness not to even say it. Over a woman, an East Indian that wouldn't pee on her if she was on fire. She would rather go against her black men. And then claim, well, we're the least protected women. And then try to claim we're the least protected. Who can protect that?
Nope, nobody can, man. Any type of man tries to... First of all, the heavenly order, Most High, Christ, the angels, man, woman. Woman came from man. Then it's the kid. So when anything is out of order, it's satanic and it's unnatural. That's exactly the same thing why those people that try to transition and surgeries and all that, it's all unnatural and satanic. Anything unnatural. The Most High has made everything perfect from the beginning. Creation. So when people try to play God and change things, it's demonic. That's why you gotta have a foundation in the Bible so you can know what's demonic or not. So, bro, when you go against the natural, that's when all these demons come, because that's literally what Satan does. That's what these demons and Satan do. Nephilim, fallen angels, demons, evil spirits, they all go against the natural grain that Most High created. That's their whole point. That's what makes him Most High angry, bro. Going against what he naturally made in creation. Messing up the order and everything, bro. If there's order, bro, you can't mess it up or you're falling into some dangerous territories, bro. Spiritually.
So when the Bible says the love of many shall wax cold, let me show y'all something real quick. That's straight out hatred in this woman. And guess what? She's not alone. But I'm going to tell you, the difference between what happened this year after the election and before, well, the Bible stated that we would be in a stupor, which is one of the prophecies that are leading to Christ's return. And I believe some of that was in the juice that they gave people.
Yep, the jab had us.
Where they don't even have enough common sense to hold their tongue. Let me tell you, folks.
You can't even say that
under
on
the
YouTube.
stupor.
You can't even say that on YouTube, bro. I'm telling you, when things you can't say or is banned or on these platforms, it's hiding the truth. It's hiding truth. If people all people hear is lies, that's the only thing they're gonna believe in. You know what I'm saying? That's why they keep banning and silencing and shadow banning truth. Because People don't do research. If all they hear about is lies, that's all they're gonna believe in. So it's very simple, bro. Because people go with the majority, even though the Bible says the broad path leads to destruction, and the narrow straight path is the way to the kingdom. So if it's the mass majority, it's probably bad. It's just that simple. Like, it's Satan's world. Like, Satan created this society. Like, anything is promoted is probably just a lie or it's satanic. It's that simple. You know what I'm saying?
People are just going to say what's in their mind, what they would normally hide, so that everyone will out here understand where they stand, where they stood. So the stupor takes away self-awareness. And now we're hearing. Now we're starting to understand why things have went to trash amongst our people. Because people are saying the things that was unspoken. But guess what? They always thought like this and acted on it. It's the love of many shall wax cold. Listen to this. Christ. And he said, this is Luke 21:8. Take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ. And the time draweth near. It's speaking about some of these fake Christians. Because I bet you that woman would claim that she believed in Christ.
That's exactly what I said before. I guarantee you she's a Christian, but Christian is paganism. It's pagan. Christianity is pagan. Because they don't follow the Bible at all. They go against it. Hardcore go against it too. It's blatant. It's not even like some type of secret thing. Like, if you read the Bible yourself and you look at the doctrine, you're like shaking your head. You're like scratching your head. Like, what the hell is this, bro? They're not following the Bible at all, bro. Literally a kindergartner can figure that out. It's just people don't read the freaking Bible. They're lukewarm. They just go to church on Sunday, which is pagan. It's not even the Sabbath. The Sabbath is Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. When the sun goes down today, Friday, that's the Sabbath. And when the sun goes down on Saturday, that's the end of the Sabbath. It's not Sunday. Sunday is Babylonian sun god worship, which is Luciferian worship, because he's supposed to be the morning star. So it's like people just, they know, man. They know. I mean, it's fallen angels worship. I mean, these fallen angels have been on the earth since before creation. They know how the brain works. They know how to program, finesse people. Satan deceives with the whole world. Like, it's easy. Like, he knows how we operate, man. He helped in creation, bro. Like, it's very fucking easy, bro. We're here on the earth for like 60, 50 years, and he's been here for 10K plus years. Like, it's easy to finesse and lie to people, bro. It's easy. You know what I'm saying? Have what they want, have better status, more money, and people will believe you no matter what you say, bro. No matter what. It's a sheep mentality, psychology, mentally enslaved. You gotta do your own research. You can't just assume things, bro. You can't assume because of no reason. It doesn't matter if they're on TV, money, better status, better. They have what you want. It doesn't matter, bro. They can be lying. You need to do your own research, bro. It doesn't matter where you grew up in, who taught you, what your friends believe, what your family believes. You gotta do your own research. It's that simple, bro. Because people love being sheep, bro. People legitimately think Christianity, Christmas, Easter, and all that is about Bible and Christ when it's not. It's satanic. Like, it's crazy, bro. It's fucking wild.
Go ye not therefore after them.
And that's all religions and holidays. They're all satanic and pagan. You're all worshiping Satan if you're in any religion. It's just a fact. Alright? Do your research. Don't be a biased don't be biased. Don't be ignorant. Don't be like, oh, this guy is just, no. Do your research, bro. Real research. That takes months. Not just a quick Google search. You ain't gonna find nothing in one day, bro. You gotta read the books, do the research, like chart uncharted territories. Like, you gotta go deep. Anything on the surface is just a bunch of lies, bro.
But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified. For these
And plus, the Bible, first of all, it's the whole Bible. The Apocrypha, 14 books, and New Testament, Old Testament. You need to read all of it. And plus, the Bible has precepts anyways, so you can't just read one verse and understand it. That's what a lot of people get wrong. There's precepts. That means you have to go into the back of the Bible or the front of the Bible to get understanding on the verse you're reading. So a lot of people think one verse equals, like, for a lot of the verses, you need precepts.
These things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Now, what does it mean? What did Christ mean that here's a sign of commotions? And how do I tie this into that woman I've just shown you and the other women who's wishing serious harm on our boys? I'm going to show y'all that today. What does that mean? Well, when you look into the Strong's Concordance, that commotion is what? That commotion, brothers and sisters, is akastasia, which is instability, disturbance, upheaval, a revolution, almost anarchy. That's what that woman was talking about. Becoming an anarchist. If we don't get our way, we'll just topple everything. We'll topple the community if we can't get our way. We'll help destroy our own people if we don't get our way. If men try to take the lead, we'll just turn over the whole table because we're not going back.
Not going back to the natural order of the heavens. That's what they're basically saying. Like, people don't understand, bro. People think it's woman empowerment. No, nigga, it's not. It's satanic, bro. Woman empowerment is going back to the natural order in the heavens, bro. Not Satan's order. Like, it's man over woman, bro. It's just a fact, bro. Like, it is what it is, bro.
First, in the political, Black Lives Matter, anyone who are crazed Marxists, lesbian black women who are trained Marxists to do what? To turn over the community, to turn it up. Their intentions were to destroy all the places we live, thinking that it would never come back. It was because of that Esau and Amalek could regenify all of those areas quickly after they opened up after the virus. So these black women claimed it was something about black men that they were going to march for, when really it was tearing up the community so that...
Yeah, Black Lives Matter beyond, it was stupid. It was satanic. The people who founded that were like 3 lesbian witches and stuff. Like, I'm telling you, like, a lot of people fall for that crap because they're pagan. Like, if you're pagan, bro, you're a program sheep, bro. Like, straight up. Because people fall for those lies. They don't do any research. Like, literally, if you research who founded BLM, you would see that. Like, people don't do the research, bro. Like, they get finessed by the news showing a bunch of Israelites getting killed, and they're like, oh, BLM matters. Like, dude, what was this like back in the 90s or something? I don't know. It's like Diddy and like Palestine, Ukraine. Like, people didn't even know those people. People didn't even know anything about any of that stuff until it started being promoted. Like, people are just sheep, man.
So that the corporations can come in and kick us out and regenify the area. So this is what happens when you get a people in our communities in position of control who doesn't care about their own people. And the proof is, it starts with them not caring about their men. First in the political, and thence in the moral sphere. Immorality. That's what Christ said we must look to before his coming. By and by. And I'm going to tell you, I said it earlier, brothers and sisters. I truly believe that we have downplayed how many of our people in the community are on antidepressants, and how that's playing a deep part, a serious part.
Yep, it is. Because all that is sorcery, witchcraft, drugs. It's drugs. It's not helping you. It's making you worse. There's too many side effects and symptoms to justify using it. It's not smart. Like, this is what happens when you're a pig and you got demons in you. Like, you see the commercial with the ad, and you see it gives you relief from one thing. Then there's 1,000 symptoms that they have to extend the commercial just to say all of them all, and people still take it. Like, you're unsober minded. You're not. The Bible says to be sober minded. You're doing drugs. Meds ain't nothing, dude. Anything is curable with her. That's what the Bible says. That's what Moses said. You don't need a drug. Like, it's a literal drug. It's not nothing else but a drug. All right. All you're doing is helping yourself get more worse and possessed. That's all you're doing, bro. You're not doing nothing else.
Probably. And them not being able to control what they say. Even if they're thinking it. And it's women like this who are operating depressed, and because probably things didn't work out the way she thought it should have worked out in her life, guess what? Let me show you. She don't care if the whole thing topples. And here's the deep thing. And you know, like I said, these numbers, if you look at it, even if you don't deal in politics, the numbers based on the polls sends a message to where people's minds are in the world. And I'm going to show you something. And I'm looking at prophecy, so I look at everything. And I think someone starts out of their mind crazy if they're saying that you believe in the Bible and you shouldn't be looking into politics. That's an idiot. Okay? That's an idiot. How can you understand prophecy if you don't know what's going on politically in the earth?
It's true.
Okay? When Pharaoh made a decree to kill the young children in Israel, that was a government decree for depopulation. That was politics. When Joseph seen that there would be a 7-year famine, and he prepared the earth by stirring food, that was government planning for a disaster. That's politics. So when you hear people say, well, you believe in the Bible, the religion, and listen, religion has nothing to do with it. That's what's wrong with you.
Yep.
Anyone in the Bible is looking at politics closely, who really understand the Word of God. These numbers tell me everything I need to know. Right here.
Yep. Religion has nothing to do with the Bible.
Of the mindset of our people, where 89% of women would vote for this woman who don't care about them at all.
Yep. Look at that. Look at that. It's just all surface level programming. Sheep. Just because she's a black woman, they will. Dude, that is insane. They don't care what she believes in, what she's doing. She don't care about nothing. She's a black woman, so, and I'm a black woman, so I'm a vote. That's crazy work. That's how they get you, bro. That's the whole purpose. You think she's just there coincidentally? No, it's on purpose, bro. They put them all there on purpose. Like, It's so funny, dude.
And it's a shame that we have to take our sons going to have to take the backlash of this. Even though 74% of black men who did vote voted for this woman, because these are weak men who would vote for her. And that's what they want. They want to, in the community, they have programmed our women to accept only weak men. And even those weak men
That's crazy, dude.
are under threat by women like we've just
Look at that, bro.
listened to.
Look at Israel, bro. That's Israelites, bro. Latino, black, that's Israelites. Hey, the girls are from Deuteronomy, man. They'll believe in oppression. They'll believe in oppression than the Most High, bro. They'll stay and believe in oppression than Israel or sheep, bro. Bible says that. Most High said that, so it is what it is. I mean, I've talked to Democrats. They don't do no research. They don't care. They don't care about Harris. They don't care about Biden. They don't care about nothing. If it's Democrat, they will vote. It's a literal, like, spell, a program. It's something deep, spiritually, for sure, because these people would just, they're voting Democrat. They don't care. They don't do no research. They don't care about nothing. They'll watch the news, and the news will say all kinds of crazy shit about Trump, and they'll think, okay, I'm going to vote for Kamala since she's black, even though she's not. And she's a woman. Woman empowerment. It's just such a program sheep thing to do. Like, voting for Kamala Harris means that you do zero research. You're black, you're a woman, you're anti-Christ, you're anti-God, you're atheist, you're Satanist. That's basically what it means. Whether you're a black woman or you do like zero research, you're a program sheep, you're atheist, Satanist. Then there's some people who just vote Democrat because they've been doing it. Like, some people legitimately think that you've been doing it for years, so you have to keep doing it. Like, what type of crazy program is that? Like, just because you've been doing something for so long doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. You can change. Like, people don't know how to change, bro. It's kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Some people say it. Some people just, bro, they don't care what's going on. They're voting Democrat because they've been doing it. They've been doing it forever. Like, it's almost scary how deep the program really is. Because if people do any type of research, you would know who to vote for. It's like, I'm not saying Trump is some good guy or something, because he's not, but he's way better than fucking Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is breaking all kinds of laws by default. And Trump, like, this is like a default pick. This is not like actual hard choice. You defaultly pick Trump because he's not as bad as Kamala. Kamala is breaking all. She's being outright with it. Just anti-God, anti-Bible. Just no. She's breaking too much laws. She's breaking too much order, for sure.
What create women like that? I want y'all to answer the questions on the other side. What create, on Patreon, answer that question. Let me tell you, Trump don't care and Kamala cares. What they care more so about is through their politics, they're dividing the children of Judah. But it takes things like this happening for us to see how grave of a situation we're under now. And now I can understand in Isaiah, the 2nd and 3rd chapter, in the 3rd chapter, how it's going into the fact that there's going to be a lack of men left in the earth. Now I understand. There will be no protection for our women.
Yep, they're going to be a bunch of
because
alphabet
the men
pagans
are going to die in number. And it's going to be
a bunch of alphabet group pagans instead of actual real men, so makes sense. Or just feminized men because of society.
our women also helping that number. And that's what I didn't want to accept. That was the naive part of it all. I was naive into believing that women wouldn't think about killing black men, would they? Not their own family, not their own brothers. Until I seen a video where his sister came out and was giving out what? The ingredients on TikTok on if they want to get rid of black men because black men aren't supporting black women by voting against Kamala. She started giving concoctions for black women to poison black men. Brothers and sisters, you all can ignore it and think this is a one-off if you would like. The Bible will tell you that we will be living in some crazy times. And because men, when men decide, black men in particular, when we decide to stand up and say, you know what, we are going to take control of our families. We are going to take the lead. Guess what, folks? It's not going to be the white man trying to stop us. I'm going to tell you that right now. You don't have to. I'm going to tell you, I don't want to ever hear about this stuff about men is trying to control and all this others. Nah. I'm starting to see what's really going on. And we've been silent about it forever. We have never had control in the United States. It's the Willie Lynch syndrome. And if we choose to break away and take control for the sake of self-preservation, we have to fight our people first, unfortunately. We have to fight our people first. So we're going to go on the other side and open this up. And we're going to talk about it. What creates women like that? Now, not just her. We're going to have other women from the same clip who's going to give us some, going to tell
4 hours. Yeah.
the Bible.
Listen to some of it.
Is it hard to understand?
Create the heavens and the earth.
Simultaneously. Have to have some fallback plans just in case. Shalom. Rumble as well as YouTube simultaneously. We are dealing with the simulcast to see how into the broadcast, right into the broadcast. Right now we're simulcasting. We're going to tie it all together. Have we finally escaped the Democrat plantation? Now, what is the plantation? Because normally they would have us believe that the Republicans are the racists. And the majority of our people who only see the lenses through their programming may believe that to be true. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to deal with the prophetic part of this, what God says, and even why so many white people are upset with Trump winning. Why are they upset? Okay? Now, I see a lot of white liberals out there claiming that they're upset. Trump is in position, and they're calling him the racist. Not saying he's not. And they're the ones who care more so for their pet project people, blacks, right? They're just here with their privilege to help the underprivileged blacks. That's what they're selling to the world, to why they're so upset. But no, it's not that at all. And I'm going to talk about that, right? So, have we escaped the Democrat plantation? And is this election in of itself a sign that something is actually changing amongst our people? Now, I have a special guest with me today that I'm going to bring in, who's subbing in for Elder Lawyer today, Elder Ramar, the regional elder over Texas. I'll be bringing him in to help to have this conversation tonight with you all, simultaneously on YouTube as well as Rumble. Okay? Now, before I go into anything, I would like to give all praises to the Most High God of Israel, Ahaya. Ahaya is his name, in the name of Yeshaya, through the Holy Spirit, for another opportunity to come before you all. Now, before jumping into this serious discussion, and brothers and sisters, I know a lot of you, I'm telling you right now.
Yep, that's the Most High's name. Ahaya Shahai, I am that I am. It's in Exodus chapters for Moses. Go read it. Then Yeshaya means Savior in the ancient Hebrew. So yeah, that's true names right there.
I know you all couldn't wait to hear our take on what's going on after the election, based on what we were saying for the last couple of years when it comes to these demo nuts. And how, believe it or not, the Democrats are more racist than the Republicans. Okay? We don't want their sympathy. We don't want them locking arms for our causes anymore. We don't want them standing in the gap claiming that they're here to protect black people, because we understand their true mission. To why even Republicans, racist Republicans, agree with having the liberals as the wolf in the hen house for us. And are we gonna talk tonight? I got scriptures up. I have the pseudeograph of the Old Testament up. Dialogue. I have Zoom up right now. We have Blog Talk waiting in the wing. And we're gonna ask this question and put it out there. Have we escaped the Democrat plantation? You're gonna find out the Democrat Party, the whole construct, came directly out of the taskmasters that slave owners were using when we were in chattel slavery. Every component, socially, medically, all of that, on how to control the slave, religiously, the whole construct, LGBTQ, all of it was a part of the original construct to keep slaves under their foot, only to become a political wing to be used on a grander scale later, when they would begin the Reformation, when they would begin the industrial age. They would still have those same components in place on a serious high level, where the finances distributed under nonprofits would be to keep the slaves in order. Shalom, shalom, shalom to my royal family, my Rumble family, or you all become a political part of the original construct to keep slaves. Whole construct, LGBTQ, all of it was a part of the original construct to keep slaves under their foot, only to become a political wing to be used on a grander scale later, when they would begin the Reformation, when they would begin the industrial age, they would still have those same components in place on a serious high level, where the finances distributed under nonprofits would be to keep the slaves in order. Shalom, shalom, shalom to my royal family. I mean, my Rumble family. Or you all are royal. But we're going to talk about this tonight. Yes. Now, before I go into it, let me make an announcement. I'm so happy to announce, it seems like forever too. Elder Lawyer will be back Friday. Thank the Most High. We're going to dive into a lesson Saturday, 10th, this Sunday week. Academy. Before the pending wars that were already paid. Trump isn't president yet. Not to say that he would do anything to get in the way of it, because we all know what happened to any president who stood against the dark elite who really control things. JFK, anyone? How will the next war and the impending wars that were already paid through this current administration impact us? Be there for our epic 3-month academy, The Fall of the Last Empire, first time taught in this academy, where we'll be diving into serious and giving serious insight on these particular lessons, the final path to the mark. We're going to be talking about vaccines. What are they in connection to Bible prophecy? And also the technology that will now be run in with medicine, satellites, as well as tracking people, robots, the whole nine. Everything we talked about and was called conspiracy theorists since 2008, 2007, 2000 now. Well, guess what? No one is calling us conspiracy theorists anymore. Everything the Most High has shown us concerning the mark of the beast with the grid in place, we are now living in those times where all that technology is a reality, where everyone will be tracked. I'm going to be talking about that in this academy. The fall of America, the fall of the last empire. Folks, America has already fallen. They just haven't told you yet. They just haven't told you yet. That's why the Bible says Babylon the Great is fallen. It's fallen. You never really see, according to the prophecy, that it has fallen completely. It's in increments. So during the Great Reset, while everyone was dealing with the virus, they were actually putting the whole world on one grid to substitute for when America is no longer a superpower. Listen to what I'm telling you. They've already set the grid. Then they begin to pull the plug. That's why no soon as that last election was over, they began moving at warp speed. Immigration, China, Chinese production all over the place. Asians coming in by the number, by the hundreds of thousands right up under our noses. Everywhere you see Asians. Then we seen Kamala Harris's people, East Indians popping out of nowhere, undocumented people just coming through the borders, getting ready for the next reset for when the poor third world population become the service class for the elite. And of course, with the and the old inoculation, a lot of people were just moved out of the way for the replacements. We're going to be talking about that and more. Folks, super soldiers are real. And we're going to be going into all of that, folks. Cloning is real. We're going to be going into all of that with our serious lesson, the final path to the mark. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am chopping at the bit for this academy. The Fall of America, the Return of the Hidden Gods. Week 2 of the Hebrew and Bible Academy, when I go into Tracing the Serpent Seed, we're going to go into some of the Sumerian texts to show you the gods who began ruling on this side of the earth, who have went behind closed doors. They went into caverns and mountains where the elite worship and sacrifice to them, allegedly. They never died. The gods of the Gentiles are real. They're the fallen gods whom the elite of this world pay homage to and sacrifice to. And this Christmas and all these holidays, that's right, they're doing that to pay homage to these same gods they worship in dark places. Well, guess what? The Bible stated that at the very end, that man of sin would be revealed. So, of course, we have to reveal Satan and the gods under his power who rules on this earth. But guess what? They only have but so much power. Only the power we on earth relegates to them through sin and trespassing against the God of all gods. How did they fall? How did they get here? And where are they today? And I'm going to extend this all the way to Antarctica. From Antarctica to Egypt, revealing the gods. This coming Hebrew and Bible Academy. And we will teach this academy like it's our last. 9 a.m. sharp. Elder Lawyer will be going into Hebrew 101. Right on point subsequent to that, Elder Shaphat and I will jump in with the news, and you know there's, hey, it's going to be some serious news between now and Sunday. And of course, we're going to go into the lesson, the creation of the universe. But instead of just going into it, this time we're going to link the other lesson we have with the first week academy. We're not just going to be talking about the creation of the universe. We're going to be going into portals. How the angels enter this realm. We're going to infuse the creation of the universe and portals into one lesson. Because eventually, when Christ returns, all the gates leading between heaven and earth will open. And we're going to identify those portals this coming Sunday. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. Where? Go to historytimes.org right here to enroll. Secure your spot. For the first time, we're breaking down the fall of the last empire. Be there. And welcome, my loyal Israelites and Gentiles in Christ who are ready to rumble on Rumble. Let's bring in my brother, Elder Ramar. Shalom, Elder Ramar.
Hey, shalom. Shalom, Elder. All praises. The water for bringing me in and the invite this evening.
Well, the water to you, and I've heard that you got confirmation that Damon Wilson is willing to come in for a segment of our academy within the next 3 months to discuss a few things.
Yes, sir. He confirmed that today. He says he's all in, so he's ready.
Hey, I'll tell you what, having Damon Wilson in the academy going to be a new element because, of course, it's uncensored. It's our platform separate from this so that we just want to cut him loose and say, listen, Say whatever you want to say. You don't have to worry about it. It's a separate platform. We're paying for this. Cut loose.
Right.
So thank you for doing all you can, and the elder brother also for doing what you can in his connection with Damon Wilson to allow this to become a possibility. This relationship is growing, and I thank the Most High that you had a hand in actually getting him on the broadcast. I appreciate and thank you.
All praises. Anytime.
All right. Now, woo, they are losing their minds. They are losing their minds. I want to start off with a video right after the election. Right after the election, this happened. Fair use for educational and religious purposes only. We're not using this for any financial gain, okay, for educational purposes. We've never been able to get monetized on YouTube. So we're not making any money off this. It's for educational and religious purposes only. Check out some of these reactions, Elder Amar, right after the election. Right after the election. Fair use, brothers and sisters, do we have a broadcast for you all today? Check this out. Fair use.
Kamala Harris's loss, a stunning defeat for Democrats.
I'm just devastated.
A somber mood at Harris's watch party overnight after Donald Trump dominated, blowing through the so-called blue wall of Midwest states that Democrats had counted on. Improving on his 2020 margins in more than 2,000 counties nationwide. In the key swing state of Pennsylvania, Harris underperforming President Biden's results. And further down the ballot, Republicans also flipped the Senate to their side.
America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate.
Now for Democrats, the soul-searching begins. After an unprecedented race with Harris stepping in as the presidential candidate, just 100 days ago when President Biden withdrew, Harris tried to distance herself from Biden, but perhaps was still hampered by his legacy.
This is about what the Democrats did while in office over the last 4 years. Inflation, which was so high during much of this administration. And many people are still feeling the pain of that.
Exit polls show voters,
And this is fair use.
listed the economy as a major issue. Harris also underperforming in key areas,
Where she's coming up short are in the cities.
even struggling in blue strongholds like New York and Virginia, despite a massive campaign blitz from major Democratic stars. Harris also came up short with key minority groups. According to exit polls, Latino men favoring
Yeah, they're both anti-Christ, anti-God, Satanists, by the way. Obama and Kamala. So it's funny how they're both together because they actually are both together. So, I mean, they're both Satanists. So, yeah. Look at their beliefs and look at their origins and all that. And, like, yeah, they're not black. I'm telling you that right now.
Trump by a 10-point margin after backing President Biden by 23 points 4 years ago. Democrats now face an uphill battle.
We know it is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
With Harris's message clearly not resonating with enough voters.
Oh yeah, Ramar. And guess what our people are saying? Of course they are ignoring it. Guess what they saying, Ramar? I'm going to take a line from old Kamala, the East Indian. We're not going back. There's a component, a solid majority in the earth they're trying to ignore but can't. I'm going to deal with that in a moment. We're not going back. See, they don't want to admit. They talk about the minorities and all that. at the end of the day, it was our people. It was our people making a statement that we aren't going for this crap anymore. So they're going to always try to play dumb and try to put it all around. Well, this is what the Latinos voted. And this, some of the white women, well, they went off the rails. They're going to go every other place than admit the 800-pound in the gorilla in the room. The fact that because we're beginning to push back as to why she didn't make it to the presidency. Okay? We don't even care. Our people don't care if she tried to cosplay. Guess what? As black, there was questions on Obama's ethnicity, and our people supported him with knowing he had no ties to the grassroots. So this is something different that I'm going to discuss in a moment. Failures.
Democrats are now left trying to sort out how to turn the page now. And already you're beginning to hear questions in terms of that Monday morning, or in this case, Wednesday morning quarterbacking among Democrats. Among the questions right now, whether it would have made better sense for President Biden after Democratic successes in the midterms in 2022 to have stepped down then. Remember, he promised to be a transitional president in the past to allow for a full primary for the Democrats to pick their candidate going forward, and perhaps to give that candidate more time to gear up for this battle with Donald Trump. The bottom line is there are so many questions, so few answers, and the Democrats have a lot of figuring out what to do next. It begins.
Oh, you don't got to worry about it. You're going to get some answers right now, buddy. You don't have to worry about some think tank. Y'all don't have to worry about huddling all together as Democrats trying to figure out what happened. Come to A Gathering 144, and we're going to tell you exactly what happened. Okay? Now, I'm sure, Elder Ramar, those who are short-sighted and can't think outside of their CNN or MSNBC automatically is translated in their mind that we must be Trump supporters. Well, guess what? Stay tuned. If you believe that, that insinuation will be answered in this broadcast.
Yep, that's what people believe automatically. Like, just because I'm not voting for a liberal Satanist doesn't mean I'm a Trump supporter. It's good cop, bad cop. They're all the same. It's an illusion that they're different. It's just, if you're voting for Kamala, like, you might as well say you don't believe in God or something. Or Christ. But stop pretending like you're some, like, good human being or something. Like, because they're not hiding how satanic they are. So, that's the thing. Like it's like a default pick. It's like a default thing you do. Like, it's like getting money. That's the default thing everybody does. You know what I'm saying? Or entertainment. Like, everybody wants to be entertained or like be happy or whatever the hell, right? That's like the default thing. Like you just vote Republican because the Democrats are demons, bro. Like. That's what they call Democrats, I guess. Like, it's such a default thing. Like, it doesn't matter who's over there, man. Honestly, whoever doesn't have the Antichrist beliefs, really. But yeah.
Broadcast also, right? So here it is. I'm going to ask you a few questions, Ramar, in one moment. Because why? We have a bunch of people crying, losing their minds. White liberals in particular. Losing their minds, Elder. White people, why are they so upset? We're going to go there in a moment. And guess what? White liberals have a reason to be upset, but not for the reason you all think. Why are they so upset? Why are they going to come and try to wrap their arms around you and didn't speak to you for 4 years, and white liberals are coming all next to you? Hey, I'm behind you 100%. We have to make sure that crazy Trump don't get in the office. Trying to edge you into being a little friend in conversation as if they have a separate interest if our people support the Democrats. They do have an interest. And it's not what you think. Oh, Elder Ramar, we would be amiss if we didn't chime in to hear the opinion of our resident crybaby. Okay? The resident the resident tearjerker, right? I would be amiss if we didn't bring in this brother. I have to get Elder Lawyer and find out what whining is, what the word whining is in Hebrew.
Where's his name?
I know in English, whining is Van Jones. Let's see what he has to say.
Be people tomorrow, we're going to be handing clothes at the dry cleaners to people who don't have papers. There are going to be people who are going to be cleaning your teeth tomorrow who don't have papers. And they're terrified tonight. And so it's easy to blow this off. Oh, look at the elites. They're going to get their comeuppance. It's not the elites that's going to pay the price. It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare. And those people didn't deserve to be respected and held and talked to. Those are the people who are going to pay the price, whatever Donald Trump decides to do.
So he's saying there's some people that's going to wake up without any papers. So why didn't you tell us initially beforehand the true reason you were letting people over the border? Why were they honest from the beginning and why didn't they tell people, well, listen, we wanted all these people to come over undocumented to work for the elite class and immediately get preferential treatment over the citizens? Why aren't you crying for our people who are getting evicted right now? Who are sleeping on the street and you've been walking over all these years. Not to say that we shouldn't do that. We're supposed to do something for other people. But I digress. Real quick, Ramar, before I really dig into this discussion today. Why are so many white liberals upset? Your opinion. Your opinion first, Remark.
I haven't really thought about the white side of the Democratic Party because typically when you think Democrat, you don't really think about the white voter base. So I'm a little out of touch with, where they are mentally. And typically, they usually fall within the letter community, if they are. So I think it maybe has something to do with that. But hey, I know you're finna drop it, so I'm all eyes and ears.
Let me tell you, and I'm so glad, a lot of people don't know this, Elder Ramar, and I do the same thing with Lawyer. I never discuss what I'm talking about initially with a guest or someone who's helping me host the broadcast before actually going live. Because your assessment not knowing anything at all. Well, I wouldn't understand it unless there was more so a part of the LGBTQ community, right? That's what you stated. Why would that interest them? Because why? Number one, they have a strong political base and are placed in positions of control over our community. But it's not enough of them as a voter bloc to keep the Democrats in position. So they need us as the voter base so that what? The financial allocation that they control can be allocated directly through them. If they had their way, okay? If they had enough of them, they would do away with us altogether. But it's not enough to make a dent in it. You need a number of people to agree with your cause in order for the funding to come through your political base. Right? That's LGBTQ and every other race. I don't care if it's Jews. I don't care if it's whatever the case is as a minority. They had to use the black vote and the number of blacks. They had to align themselves with us to get anything passed because it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough of them under one voting block. So then that opens up another question. Why doesn't our people understand our true power unified? If that's the case, if every other race of people can use us as a voting block to get what they want, why can't we see if we stuck together undivided, the political power we would have? See? Not just the political power. Think about the tens of millions of children that they helped us agree to get rid of through abortion. We would be the vast majority. See? So now it's starting to make sense here. So, speaking of division, right? Let's go here real quick. Let's break this down. Right? The whole time they were lying to us and saying, hey, man, these polls, Kamala is, man, she's going to sweep all the swing states. And what they were doing was through suggestive programming. To have us believe, or everyone else believe, that these polls were actually real, when on the ground there was really no support for this woman at the level CNN was stating. But here's the numbers that breaks down Elder Ramar to how we got here with Trump. Trump mopped the floor with her. Right? White men, 59%, 60% voted for Trump. White men. White women, over 52% of white women voted for Trump. Now, I would expect that. Why? Because white women are seeking to be defended by white masculine men. And you can say what you want about white women. We learned it through the civil rights movement, through the feminist movement. Feminism came into play because white women weren't going to allow black men to be a stronger voting constituency, or put it this way, white women weren't going to allow white men to have black men jump them in line for the white collar jobs. White women don't play that. So if Hillary didn't make it as president, white women weren't going to just sit around and allow a so-called person or woman of color to jump the line. Karen don't play that. Right? So, and guess what? They're going to try to put everything on us, and guess what? The reason why they're going to put everything on us, because we were the ones keeping the Democrats afloat since the civil rights movement. Without us, there is no Democrat constituency. But white women, 52%, she ran on abortion and all these things. And white women get abortions and all that. But they're not going to side with any woman over them, number one. And they know the fragility of having a woman over the nuclear codes, sitting in meetings with Putin. Okay, now they don't mind going to get their toes and nails done with Kamala, but they don't want her sitting across the desk from Putin. Right?
I don't know.
So let's talk about it real quick.
She ain't gonna work.
White men, 60% went with Trump. White women, over 50%, went with Trump. Black men, for the first time, listen to this, y'all, went Republican. 24%. That's big. Now check this out. Look at this. You see how close white men and white women are when it comes to making life-changing decisions? Look how far we are apart. We see the white man, 59%, with the white woman following him, them, their men, at 52%. We have the black men at 24%. And we have the black woman at 9%. So this is glaring that what? The black woman isn't following the black man. And I didn't need these polls to show that. Right? Now, the 24% of men, these are the men who can see exactly what's going on in the earth. And it has nothing to do with supporting Trump. They understand the danger of the Democrat Party. And I'm going to go there in a moment. Latino men, 46%. And they were being utilized from other countries to come in as immigrants as leverage against us. And even 46% of them voted Trump. And look where their women are, how close their women are. Right up under the men at 38%. Now, these were those pro-Trump, right? You see the disparity between us and our women compared to every other group. Every other group are running close with one another, right? Now, let's go to the blue side now. 39% of white men voted for Kamala. Now, I can almost guess and would be right to say that probably 80 to 90% of white men that were gay, that are gay, voted for Kamala. Right? Now, according to the elite politicians throughout history, that's a needed constituency for balance. And I'm going to show y'all what I'm talking about in a moment. 46% of the white women, liberal white women, voted for Kamala. You know why? It was in their personal interest to do so. The white liberals are over the social programs. They're over the jesters for the court. When I say jesters for the court, back in medieval time, back in ancient times, you need some people who will be over the entertainment, who will be over bringing in the little girls and all these others for the elites to actually deal with them. You need movers and shakers that will be over the liberal parties to control the slaves. Where you have a lot of white women and gay women and gay men who make a living through nonprofits in our community, controlling the purse strings when it comes to housing, businesses, grants. Guess what? We can't get anything in our community unless we go through them. So that's why a lot of them are crying. Because on the conservative side, they're talking about cutting the purse strings. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. 74% of black men voted for Kamala. 89% of the black women voted for Kamala. Now, I need you to see this. Because even on the side of the men who voted for Kamala, it's the men following the women. Now, we have to talk about the mindset of these particular men who would seek a woman to lead them. Elder Ramar.
Yes, sir.
Who would feel comfortable with a woman leading them. And you know why they're comfortable with a woman leading them? They grew up believing that that was normal. Right? The old plantation programming. Then you got 51% of the Latino men who voted for Kamala, and 60% of the Latino Israelite women who voted for Kamala. And we're going to show you why. Right? Now, many of our people didn't vote at all. But why I wanted to go here, Ramar, is to show what? I wanted to go here initially, Elder Ramar, because we all know politicians aren't elected. They are selected. Either side. But it does give us an insight into the psychology and the mentality of the people. This is why they need the elections. Because it takes the barometer of the population to understand whether or not they're still under the government's control. So elections is that particular barometer. Where are the people? Where their minds are right now? Do they still have belief in our system? Mm-hmm. Right? Why are they thinking differently outside of what we put out there? And see, that's what the pundits are discussing. So that now they can do what? They can reshape the political landscape to get everyone back on board. See? They understood a lot of people was not believing in the system at all. But this could have some people believe that there's hope in Babylon. Right? Right? Now, this number in of itself, let me pull it up again. Think about that small number of Israelite men, Judite men, 24% who went the other way. And you know what? And they're unapologetic about it. And then there's 9% of our women who went the other way, unapologetic. That scares them. You know why? This is why it scares them, Ramar. You see the 74% or the 89% over here that voted for Kamala? Mm-hmm. They're already controlled. Yep. They don't have to worry about these. These are that they can get on the news and tell them, go take something, and they control these people and have these people off themselves if they want. They're not worried about these over there because these are already under the total power of the government. But they are alarmed when they see these numbers growing. See? Because these aren't followers. And what they noticed after Barack Obama, over here, about that small number of Israelite men, Judite men, 24% who went the other way. And you know what? And they're unapologetic about it. And then there's 9% of our women who went the other other way, unapologetic. That scares them. You know why? This is why it scares them, Ramar. You see the 74% or the 89% over here that voted for Kamala?
Mm-hmm.
They're already controlled.
Yep. Programmed, controlled sheep. Programmed sheep that'll listen to anything they say. They can say off yourself and they will do it. They'll say to take this and you'll take it, and it's not coincidence that you're experiencing a bunch of crazy problems that wasn't there before you took that thing, and you brush it off like, oh, they couldn't have lied to me. Oh, this can't be bad. People are just conspiracy theorists. Oh, just program sheep, bro.
They don't have to worry about these. These are they that they can get on the news and tell them, go take something, and they control these people and have these people off themselves if they want. They're not worried about these over there because these are already under the total power of the government. But they are alarmed when they see these numbers growing. See? Because these aren't followers. And what they noticed after Barack Obama, these numbers, black people didn't vote for Republicans at all. The fact that any of black people are now leaving the plantation is alarming to them. Because the people that are leaving are against their own demographic they came out of. That in of itself, Elder Ramar, tell you that these are leaders on this side. They don't care what you think. They could care less. They don't care about the shaming of all these people over here. They don't care what you think about them because they're independent thinkers. And that's what they can't allow. Now, white people, they can go from Democrats, the numbers are so close, they can go from Democrats to Republicans without anyone noticing. Whatever suit their interest, every 4 years, they'll just flip-flop. And that way, you'll never understand how they're thinking. See, Esau keep his numbers very close. So at any time, they can move from one side to the other, and you'll never notice movement. And folks, that's strategic also. I'm going to show y'all something real quick. We're going to talk. What does this mean? Well, Elder Ramar, in order to understand what it means, we have to go into the Bible and understand the political construct that was put in place to actually control the people who would be under the curse. See, Elder Ramar, in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, when the Most High told our people, the children of Israel, if you disobey my law, you will serve all the other nations. So common sense would tell us what? That the future empires would have a construct in place that could actually fulfill, or in a nutshell, be in place to actually facilitate what the Most High would have in prophecy. Well, if all these Israelites are going into captivity, according to what we see in Deuteronomy 28, then we have to set up a construct, a government accordingly. Right? Now let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm going to show you the Democrats in the Bible. Right? I apologize. I didn't mean to call you a lawyer. Excuse me if I make a mistake doing this broadcast. I may do it more. I may do it over and over again. Right?
Muscle memory.
Muscle memory. Right? Deuteronomy 28. Right? Now check it out. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Speaking of Israelites. Right? The Most High God said, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not listen or hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. If you don't listen, Israel, all these curses are going to come on you. What are the curses? Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. What type of curse? Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store, which means you'll be working from check to check, week to week, with nothing to pass down to the next generation. The other nations would be in charge of the banks, right? So they would have to have what? A banking system in place, fulfilling this particular prophecy, where you would have to go to them, the Gentiles, for anything. So they would need to set up what? A political, social construct for this. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, those are your children, and the fruit of the land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed be the fruit of thy body. Where one would actually become upset when normally it should be a cause of joy when having children. The first thing our people would think, man, look at my circumstances, we don't have anything, and now I'm looking at this test and I'm pregnant. I don't have anything to give this child. Of course, the system would have something in place to get rid of it. See, you see why the Democrats are needed? According to them? See why these white liberals are all upset? Because if our people began to understand what the Most High says and begin.
The curse of the Deuteronomy is when Israel, which are black people, they're Israelites, when they break the laws and the commandments, these curses fall upon them. If they follow the laws and commandments, they're above all people. Because Israelites is the Most High's chosen people. Paul, Christ, they're Israelites. They're dark skin. Revelation 1:14-15, Christ is dark skin with white wool hair. Daniel 7:9 says the same thing. So the first, everybody was black until leprosy. Then Esau was red. So it's not like Adam and Eve was black.
They
so
come back to the
really just dark skin, really, because black is just, I'm only saying that because most people think it's black, but in reality it's like Israelite. Or example, like some Africans are Ethiopians, Cushites, Hamites, so they're not African, right? They're not African.
They lose their status as social workers, psychologists, doctors, counselors, teachers, nurses. They lose their status they've only received by our people operating under a slave mentality. See? Cursed shalt thou be, Israel, when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. When you come into the world, you got doctors and others standing over you as a child, telling your parents they need to do something with you. Yeah, why don't you give your child this or child that? You'll be lucky to get your baby out of there unscathed, let alone the woman. Cursed shall you be when you're born, and cursed shall you be when you go out. You go to here it is, someone passed, And we dishonor them by cremating them because we can't afford it.
Yep. Cremate.
That's a curse.
Not supposed to cremate.
The crematories and your pastors are all complicit. When guess what? There's earth everywhere. And they...
Not supposed to cremate. If you cremate, don't do it no more, bro. Not supposed to cremate. Bible says, talks against it. Cremation is a burnt sacrifice to Satan. So don't do it. Do your research. Just Valley of the Dry Bones. Do not cremate.
We can't even afford to be put in dirt that's free. So check it out. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, rebuke, and all that setteth thine hand upon to do until they destroyed, until they perish quickly, because of the wickedness of your doing. The Lord shall make the pestilence, roaches, rats, all those things, to cleave unto thee, until he consume thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. Right? So when we become a clean people, guess what? We put exterminators out of business. And then look at this. So check this out. It even talks about that thou shalt betroth a wife, a woman. Right? So when we become a clean people,
this is all Israelites, Israel, by people.
It even talks about that thou shalt betroth a wife, a woman, and another man shall lie with her. So of course, if they knew this was the curse, they would put things in place. So you would have a slave scenario where what? The white man would come in and do whatever he want to do with our sisters and just give her back to us. Only to have our women look at it and say, well, we're not protected. When there was never a time in our society we had the power to actually do so, without dying or being executed. See? Listen to what I'm showing you. And because of all of this, what? It will be a dependence. And guess what? That this is not our women's fault right here. In particular, it's part of the curse. What am I talking about? It's not our women's fault. If women are ruled a lot through their emotions, and they see that they're living in a construct where the man is powerless under certain circumstances, it automatically creates something else in them to protect themselves for the sake of self-preservation. And a lot of people, they look at this as, well, our sisters are too masculine, and they're leaving out another element. They know that men can only protect them but so far under this construct. Because if we put our foot down and began to say, well, listen, this is how it's going to be, the police is coming. We're powerless, and they know it. They can at any point, even if they're wrong, they can call 911 and leave us powerless. In the back of their mind, they understand that weakness exists. And they must compensate knowing it exists. There's only, but it's only to a certain degree, our men can actually protect us like white men protect their women. So women had to create something else in them to compensate for self-preservation. It's called the curse. But one thing I do know, when we begin to come from up under the curse, a lot of that changes. And that's what they fear, Elder Ramar. It takes a lot of guts for our people to say, I know that I'm going to be called racist and everything else, that I'm going to be called, that I'm self-hating. But it took a lot for us to see a number like this, where our people would say, you know what, I don't care what the slave quarters think about me. That's the strength our people have been waiting for. Now, I'm using the Democrat Republican as an example, being that we're talking about it. But the numbers are even telling them this is bigger than Trump and Kamala. We have a we have a demographic of slaves who aren't going for anything no more and are charting their own path. And that's scary. That's scary for them. That's scary for them because they don't know how to handle people who have always been conditioned to do what they're told. Now let's talk about it now. Let's go in, Elder Ramar, and you can jump in at any time, but I want to show you something here.
Okay, I'm gonna let you cook. This Fox graph, I definitely wanted to chime in on it, but I'm gonna let you cook.
No, you don't listen. Before I move off of this graph, give me your input.
Yes, sir. So I was speaking of Fox. I was watching Fox last night, and as soon as it was announced that Trump had won, they were talking, and they said it was interesting when they said Black people saved America. And when I heard that, and they said not specifically just Black people, but more specifically Black men. And when I heard that, the first thing, well, before I get to it, came to my mind, but just that speaks volumes in itself on so many different levels, how you can analyze that both positively and negatively when it comes to America and Babylon. But the question I asked myself was, will Black men be blamed for Donald Trump winning this election? That was the question I was asking myself. Because remember, before the election, what was the big hysteria? Black men aren't supporting Kamala. They're not supporting the Black woman. It's misogynist. I mean, you were hearing this all the way up until the day of. So will that rhetoric continue and grow worse in sentiments towards Black men now?
And
that's the question.
The answer is yes. Because I was going to go there, but I'm glad you brought it out at this point. What will be the blowback on this? Because one thing about these Democrats, these white liberals, they're unforgiving. They're unhinged. And they're going to do everything they can as vengeance, for vengeance, because our men decided not to stay on the plantation. They're going to do everything they can to teach our people a lesson. And I'm going to talk about that. And guess what? It's not just going to be, Elder Ramar, the 24% or the 9% who chose Trump who will have hell to pay by the Democrats. It's going to be even the high demographic of our men and women who voted for Kamala. Mm-hmm. They think that our people have something to fear from Trump. No. The biggest issue is when the people who control your housing, your social programs, those are all Democrat programs, folks. The money goes through them. See? And the only way that I'm talking about LGBTQ, they control all our social programs. Our women don't control that stuff. The white liberals control all the social programs in our communities. And that's the only way they can pay us back, by offering what they know belongs to us to someone else. And that's why they began to open up the borders, folks. Because there were some questions based on whether or not there was some shenanigans with the first election. So they knew they were losing that support a long time ago. So it was a Democrat machine operating, putting things in place during COVID to make sure, since black people are leaving the plantation, to have a service class to replace us. Listen to what I'm showing you. It's always, and you notice, check it out. That's how you know Judah in particular. There's something deep, and there's something deep about all the tribes, Elder Ramar. You know how I feel. I love all the tribes. But there's something deep about Judah. That they're talking about all these demographics and all that, but then they triangulate in their conversation, and it lands on, what is Judah doing? Why isn't Judah listening and following the Democrat train like everyone else? White people can vote any which way they like, same as any other demographic, but everyone, guess what? The record stops when black people, Judah is doing something different. Right? But you raised a very, very good point. Will there be lashback? We're going to talk about that on our people for not going for it. Because guess what? The Democrats know it, Ramar. It's not going to trend backward. It's not going to trend with our people going back to the Democrats. And they know it. There's nothing they can do to have our people that are already left that mentality. Nothing they can do to have them go back. Nothing. So what does that mean? I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Right? Now, I know a lot of people saying, well, hold up. Y'all dealing with the Bible. What y'all talking about this for, right? Folks, everything that we read about in the Bible was political. Everything. Christ being born. Herod issues a decree from the government to go find the child. And when they couldn't kill Christ, he made a decree to kill all the children 2 years or back. Abortion. That was political. So one have to be a fool looking at prophecy and not realize you must actually follow politics to understand the dynamics of our people in oppression. Okay? I'm just putting it out there to have you understand. The politics are good if you examine it for what it is. It allows one to actually measure the moral compass of a country. See? It allows us to understand that 74% of black men, right? And 89% of black women agree with children being transitioned. See? Y'all see that? I don't care how much our people try to claim, well, I don't really deal with that part of things. When our people vote Democrat, we vote down ballot. We vote everything on the ticket without even understanding each individual politician we're voting for. So what we do know, according to what we do know, we know what God said concerning that activity, and we know that 74% of black men agree with that. We know that 89% of black women agree with that. So you can look at these numbers and you can measure where the country is based on a moral compass to understand why God will have to eventually destroy this place. See?
Yep.
I
Most
know,
High
according to this,
will have to destroy America.
that 74% of black men agree with the gay lifestyle, LGBTQ. 89% of black women agree with the gay lifestyle.
Bible calls America Tower of Babylon, Egypt, and Sodom and Gomorrah. So, yep. And all those places were destroyed. So,
Period. And this is why these two parties made distinct policies that separate one another so that on the surface you can gauge the morality of a country. Now, are they gay Republicans? Of course. But we all know the hot button issues from either side. See how this works? We know that 74% of black men agree with aborting their own children. We know that 89% of black women agree with aborting their own. So does 39% of white men and 46% of white women. See how this works? So there's a lot you can pull from these polls, but our people never thought to even look at it. Because guess what? And to prove this, for the first time in the history of this country, Elder Amar, we have someone running for the president where her only issue she brought to the table consistently was abortion. So you can't claim that you're not for abortion if you voted for her. That's the only thing she said clearly she would be behind. Anything
you know, it's crazy real quick, Elder, is because when you ask our people to vote blue, why they would vote for Kamala or the Democrats, they never give a reason other than it always goes back to Trump. It's never about what she's doing. It's positive for our people. It's always, well, Trump. So, like you said, about
yep, people are programmed sheep. They don't care about what she's doing, what she believes in. All they care about is that she's a woman. She's of color, even though she's not. And it's not Trump. No research. Don't know what she's about. Just completely emotional. No logic. Like, they're about to vote in a blatant public Satanist anti-God into office. That's a freaking woman of all things. That's literally breaking so many laws in the Bible. Like, this just how you know, like, people are just pagan sheep, pagans, demonically possessed people, for sure. Like, whether you're a black woman, you do no research, you're programmed sheep, you're LGBTQ, you're in the alphabet group, you're atheist, Satanist, like, dude, that's literally what instantly comes to mind when I'm thinking about Democrats and like Kamala, bro. Like, she's an East Indian Babylonian, dude. She's not even black. Ow. And black people aren't even black either. White people aren't even white. They're Edomites. And then black people are Israelites. In America, at least. Even Latinos. Those are Israelites, too. Tribe of Issachar. Or whatever. Manasseh or some shit. Like, it's fucking wild. It's fucking wild, man. I heard arguments. In every argument I'm in with politics, they do no research whatsoever. I'm gonna vote Democrat because I've been doing it. Or they turn on the news and they're just programmed by the news, so they vote based off what the news says. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, bro. Like, this is what happens when you're pagan, and this is what happens when you're taking their meds, which are drugs, or like you don't have a spiritual foundation, like you don't do any research, like like you need a foundation, bro. Like default pick is Republican because she supports offing your kids an alphabet group. So automatic, and she's one. Like Bible says, women shouldn't be at that place of power. Like there's so many things that's blatantly obvious, straight out. Like that's how you know people are just pagans and they don't believe in the Most High Christ. Because the default pick is Trump. Like Trump is not even good, but if you have two choices, her or Trump, is Trump because he's defaultly better by default. Like it's a default. It's process of elimination, like 6th grade work, bro.
Default now, you've signed on to all those things you listed out that are detrimental to our people, and sponsoring.
Now it's time to deal with the similarities. What you're going to find out that the Democrat Party was made out of the slave masters, controllers of plantations. And they turned them into social programs and all of that, but it's really playing the same service for the elite. Instead of plantations, they became corporations. Instead of having just a few people operating, they made the slave masters, they made them outright brothers and sisters. I'm not about slave masters, slave controllers, taskmasters. They made them the head of all of the nonprofits and religious institutions that control our community. It's the same construct. Let me show you. What do we do? What do we know here? Right? Let's go there. Let's go there. Now the Bible says, I'm going to go there again. Excuse me. In the pseudepigrapha of the Old Testament, Elder Ramar, I read this over and over again. It talks about the 12 parts that we are to understand before Christ comes. It really breaks down Matthew 24, but it's some more detail of what to look at in specific when Christ was saying the signs that we'll actually witness at the very end. And he answered and said, in the 12 parts of that time divided. And each of them is reserved for that which is appointed for it. Right? Commotions. Commotions are what? Uprisings. Protests. Slayings of the great ones. The killing of our people. The third part, the fall of many by death, like we seen during COVID. Some believe that it probably was from the disease, and some believe that, to some degree, it's the decisions they made when it comes to solution that led to deaths. And the fourth part, the sending of sword, wars like we see in Gaza. Ukraine. Who funded Israel and who funded Ukraine? And the fifth part, famine, withholding of rain, that's weather modification. And the sixth part, earthquakes and terrors. And in the eighth part, the multitude of specters and the attacks of the Shadim, mental health issues, people riddled with demons. And the ninth part, the fall of fire, like we've seen in Hawaii, different parts of Canada. Wildfires, rapine, and much oppression, like what we are about to go into very soon. You're talking about backlash. And in the 11th part, wickedness and unchastity. Women selling their bodies for nothing. Unchastity. Hookup culture. And in the 12th part, the confusion and the mingling one with another will minister to one another and shall leave out some of them. And then it talks about what? It talks about a stupor. It speaks of a stupor shall take the earth. A stupor. Right here. Let me show you. Look at it right here. The sign shall be a stupor that shall seize the inhabitants of the earth. What is a stupor? That's talking about people walking the earth without common sense. Without any common sense. I need y'all to think about that. And that's why, Elder Ramar, when you stated, when you asked them why did they vote for Democrats, the only answer they could ever give you is, well, it's not Trump. They've been overtaken by a spirit. It's called the stupor.
Yep, that's what I was trying to say. Spirits, bro. Evil spirits.
Because they don't know why they're voting for her. They disagree with almost everything I just outlined. They disagree with the transition of children. See? So in their mind, they cannot even, through common sense, stand on their moral principles. They'll be against all of that. Go to church every week, but still vote against what? The morality code given to them by God and their Christ. It's a stupor. It's a curse. And you know why the curse is placed on people? Because why? Because they choose not to see. They don't want to see. They'll fight against anyone opening their eyes. Now they see the obvious, but they don't want to accept it. So they stick their head in the sand like an ostrich, believing that no one can see them just sitting there with their head in the ground, with their whole torsos recognized.
Yep.
See?
People don't want to believe.
Their head is in the ground, and to them is, well, listen, like an ostrich, I'm hiding. They know the Democrats are against our people.
Yep.
But because of faith, they don't believe there's an alternative. And for the 9% or 24% that voted for Trump, I'll tell you what. Trump isn't an alternative either. But at least they were bold enough to say, you know what? I'm going with what I know is harming our people. I'm not going with what's harming our people anymore. I don't know what the Republicans are going to do, but I know what the Democrats are doing.
Mm-hmm.
See? Right? So now let's go in now. Let's show you the similarities, Elder Ramar, between the plantation and the slave quarters. The similarities. I'm going to go backward and work my way to the current Democrats. This is from the movie Goodbye Uncle Tom, where they were actually, believe it or not, Elder Ramar, they were actually quoting slave masters, those who were pro-slaves in the South when it comes to the religious leaders, the congressmen and the politicians during the time of chattel slavery. They were quoting a lot of them during this movie. Goodbye, Uncle Tom. Right? Fair use. Showing what was going on during the time where our people were in slavery, the children of Israel. Greatest. The white woman. Standard of beauty. A white girl.
That is so funny.
And she has a brother running behind her. And look. With a chain on his neck.
It's crazy.
Now let's examine this for a second, Elder Ramar. White liberal women who believe that we're their charity case. This is it right here. Elder Ramar, you worked in the corporate world before, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me give you some examples of this on a corporate level. I was working for a Fortune 500 company. And there was a job that came available for manager. I was one of the top salespeople in that corporation. Also, it doesn't matter what contracts that were made. I was able to accomplish well past any quotas, to a degree that they wanted me to write a script for the rest of the floor and all of these things. And eventually they pulled me in the office. I only was working there for about, 7 months, and offered me a manager's position, right? Now, there was a white guy who was working there well before me. Even though he had a higher education when it comes to degrees at that time, he didn't know as much as I knew from the grassroots selling type of deal when it comes to being able to do what? Product to customer. He had no idea. He just had credentials. He ended up quitting because I got the position, right? Now check it out. Now look at what you got before you. Now, I'm more qualified than the white guy who quit it. You would never guess who they put me under to mentor for the first 3 months before they could actually trust that I can actually be who I was before they hired me. They put a white woman fresh out of college. I have more knowledge than her. I understood the products more. I understood selling more. But they intentionally put a white woman over me during the mentor process. Right? Listen, I'm here to make money. I'm not caring about that. But it's clear what these guys who play golf who was over me were doing. Right? What they were doing. They were making sure that one of their nieces or somebody else had someone on a chain. See? They just brought this same particular construct to the corporations. Some liberal white girl who didn't know her head from a hole in the ground and had some family members who were higher up, by default, would just have their own little Negro on a chain. Right? So this is why these liberals cry when our people no longer leave this plantation. This gives them purpose, that they helped an underprivileged black man from the hood, an old trading places type of adage, where Mortimer and the other guys say that I can take a guy out of the hood and I'll bet $1 that I can actually make him greater than the white guy. Playing their games. That's your liberal white people who are anti-Trump, because they need to be in position as our saviors. The Democrats, the white liberal Democrats, Not to say that all of them don't care at all, but a lot of them have savior complexes. They believe that they're our Jesuses, that they're our Jesus. And they set up the corporate construct just like this. Not just with us, they'll put our white sisters on the chain too. Right? Now let's get some more to why the white liberals are losing their mind right now with black men in particular, because I don't believe a number of our sisters will ever see the light when it comes to what the Democrats are really doing to them. The Democrats are trying to turn our sisters into streetwalkers. And they'll make it where the only way our sisters can come up is to sell their bodies. That's the construct the Democrats have made for our sisters. Now, let's get the next one. Check this one out, Elder Ramar. Fair use. Fair use for educational purposes only. Here's your Democrat Party. The elite need the white liberals because they're the ones who would do what? Who would condition the slaves into the workforce. When we came off the slave ships first, folks, it was your liberal whites who had to condition us into the workforce. And that construct never changed. Check this out. Fair use.
And you too pay attention when I'm talking to you here. Here's where you look when you find yourself in front of a white man. Here, at the toe of his boot. Now, you over there, I want you to repeat. Thank you, master.
Thank you, master.
Yes, master.
Yes, master.
Please, master.
Please, master.
Now you see why the white liberals go crazy when black men are saying they're not voting for Democrats? Huh? You are supposed to agree with your taskmasters.
And you never look a white man in the eye. You hear me? Never. Look at me. Thank you, master. Not in the face, you bastard.
Fair use. I'm
so
sorry
funny.
this is so harsh, but Esau went in to show you what go. Now, what I'm going to show you is, and this ain't funny, I'm going to show you right him, this brother is in right here. Let me show you him real quick.
Just ridiculous because they know we're Israelites, so they just went ham, bro. Like, they're so jealous that we're Israelites and they're just Edomites and that we have the promise. That's like the spiritual. It's not even racism. It's just like nation versus nation type shit. Like, it's all spiritual warfare, bro. There's literally demons in them. Like, because I can not like somebody, but you will never catch me doing all that to somebody I don't like. Like, that's just demonic now. Like, you're getting demonic now at this point. I ain't gonna lie to you.
In this 74% that voted for Kamala. That's your 74% right there. All right? That's 74% of black men who will have a white woman lead them. This is why. He's been whipped into shape. Okay? He's been whipped into shape. All right? I know it looks harsh, but I got to give it to you like it is. We're going to break down the demographic of people that's still on the plantation. And this is how you know they're on the plantation, Ramar, like you've stated. If a black man who voted for Kamala come in here right now, he can't tell me one reason outside of talking about Trump to why he voted for Kamala.
Exactly. There is no reason. I thought Democrats. There is no reason. I've been voting Democrat, so I'm gonna keep voting. Or it's like Trump this, racist Trump that. I can't vote for Trump, so Biden's the only way. Like it's insane, bro. Like, they're voting with emotions, not logic.
Not one.
You know what's funny about that? If they did research, because media promotes Trump as being bad, I guess, on the news and stuff. If they did their research, what they feared was actually in the Democrats, was actually in Biden. So it's just funny how they vote for what they don't want in reality, because their psychology, like sorcery spelled witchcraft on, psychology on by the news, it's voting for what they actually don't want. It's crazy.
And why? There you go right there. See, they don't care. Let me tell you, they don't care about the other people that are on the other side that are already controlled. They have nothing to worry about. A lot of those have been buck broken already. Speaking of buck broken, before there was an LGBTQ, you had a slave quarters that would prepare young boys for slave masters who had a proclivity for them.
I'm the general. Open up. Oh, Europeans. Oh, what an honor. I'm beside myself. Did you ever see such dance?
Fair use.
Dude, that's the most, like, I'm telling you, those people, they act crazy like that because they're demon possessed, bro. Like, it's literally demonic. Like, it's demon possession. Like, no sane, no regular. Most High won't. It's Adam and Eve. Why wouldn't the Most High create a person gay? That doesn't make. He's not going against himself. Like, you just know it's a demon because Baphomet, that's both genders and all this. They can. Anything to do with alphabet group is satanic. So.
If you knew what they like when they arrive here. Places. I could go out of my mind getting them ready, and they in such demand, they rip them out of my hands before I'm finished.
There it is. Prepping the little boys for slave masters who have a proclivity for them.
Satanic, bro. Satanic. Demonic.
Now, let me ask you. Unfortunate, I'm going to tell you, this Goodbye Uncle Tom Cabins documentary, how sad it is, it came from documented information from the slave days. To show you the construct. And really what they were doing without saying it was showing you that the construct never changed. They always had these liberal guys like that. He would be equivalent to your modern day Epstein. Here go Epstein right here in slave days.
I'm the general. Open up. Oh, Europeans. Oh, what an honor. I'm beside myself. Did you ever see such dance?
Here and there with the little boys prepping them for those who would purchase the boys who have a proclivity for them. There were your Epsteins right there. Or you talking about human trafficking. What do you think slavery was?
And there go Diddy and R. Kelly.
There go Diddy and R. Who you think taught Diddy and R. Kelly? Yo, Diddy and R. Kelly are the little boys behind him.
Yep.
And when they're touched at this age, they develop an inordinate affection. The Bible calls eventually, if they don't fight against the inordinate affection, they become reprobate.
Yep. Moloch, that's a Moloch sacrifice right there. Look at John Lennon, because when you get sexually assaulted and all this, there's a demon with that. So it's Moloch sacrifice. It's not just burning your kid or whatever. It's more than that. So got these demon possessed little kids running around with high authority positions. So that's how you get your Democrats. Shit like that happens. Moloch sacrifice, bro. Breaking the laws. So.
Every every part of what I'm showing you that kept our people in place during slavery is within the current construct of the Democrat Party. It's in the current construct of that party. Have we escaped the plantation? Hold up, I got more. I have more. I have more. Let's go here. Let's show you the little boys that they turn out first. Let's show you the boys they turn out first. And you can find this on a documentary. You can find this on YouTube. Goodbye, Uncle Tom. Turning out little boys right off the ship, ripping the boys from their fathers and mothers. Their father could have been from a warrior class in Africa, only to turn them out and prep these little boys for these perverts, these white liberals. Now you see why they're crying now that Kamala lost? And let me show you this. Let me show you the modern day that happening. The modern day. These perverts, these white liberals. Now you.
All right, I'm about to come back later to finish this. About to go eat. Today is the Sabbath, by the way, but I'm about to be back for part 2.